Hi there. It's me again. Just, wrapping up the day, talking about some stuff that I like, because sometimes that is what I need to do to sort of feel better about the day. A lot of down things happen, and it sort of drags you down. So I want to end my days on a high note. So, fairly often I'm going to be coming on here and talking about things I love. And, or just really like, whatever. One of the things I thought I'd talk about today is, I love superheroes. I mean, I really do. I grew up reading comics, like a lot of people. I had a fairly prodigious vocabulary, largely because of my exposure to comic books. You can't read Stan Lee captions and narration without picking up a few terms you hadn't heard before. But also, I like superheroes because they give us a sort of a window on what we want as heroes. Like, if you read The Odyssey, right? The Odyssey is very much a product of its time. The characters in it represent what the Greeks considered to be heroic and villainous in equal measure, but things that they sort of idealized and put aside as this is a thing that we idealize. With superheroes, they're kind of like that for us. They show a version of a world where people have more power to save the world. And the villains and the threats that come out of that is a natural extension. But at the end of the day, it's about people being heroic. In a way that is beyond what is normal. Even the sort of human superheroes like Batman or Iron Man or what have you step beyond what is normal to be, extraordinary. And some of the things that says about us isn't great. A lot of those superheroes solve their problems with their fists. And that is a thing that is true of a lot of humanity's thinking. So it fits in with us, but it is maybe not the best thing in the world about us. But our conception of heroism is embodied in superheroes. They are a super actuated form of our heroism. Over time, superheroes change. 1930s, the superheroes were very simple. They were written for kids. Hell, they were practically written by kids. And we started seeing things that they were concerned about. Like, Superman went after a guy who beat his wife. He went after war profiteers. Captain America, first character to first punched Hitler long before the Americans entered the war. So yeah, I mean, it reflected what we wanted our heroes to be doing, what we wanted to be doing. In the 1960s and into the 70s, they became much more progressive and self-aware because that was a thing that was in the minds of a lot of the creatives working on it at the time. And those heroes became more along those lines. That's why you get hard-traveling heroes and so on. I was watching Callisto 6 tonight, and there was a bit where Eric Campbell spent a little bit of narration at the end of the session talking about how the characters realized that if they had not shown up to resist the corporations, they would not have become the heroes that they are. And that is very reflective of the time we're in now, where resistance is an expression of what we want our heroes to do. We want them to be better than the corporations and sort of what we're told is good but isn't. We want our heroes to be better than just wanting for some money or what have you. And I think each era has its own sort of picture of that. The 90s was a weird time because they kept showing these edgy heroes because people thought that's what they wanted. And people stopped wanting that. And so those edgy heroes became less interesting to people. But I love that superheroes can reflect that portion of the world. And this leads to some controversy with some folks. There are some folks who don't like those changes that are reflective of the society, because they're being left behind, right? You know, they're the people who can't deal with the fact that women are not being relegated to, you know, bad stereotypes anymore. They can't deal with the fact that we are beginning to be a more pluralized society. That it's not just white Anglo-Saxon Christians running things. And I'm happy that that's the thing. And I think that that movement is, however, causing some people some tension because they can't deal with those changes. They need to learn how. But I think that element of superheroes is important. So, anyway, I'm going to wrap this up because the neighbors are getting loud. You know, have a good evening. Be careful. Enjoy yourself and stay out of trouble.